Victory depended not on weapons alone, but on the trucks, jeeps, and transporters that carried fuel, ammunition, and food to front lines across continents. Supply vehicles became the invisible backbone of Allied triumph, delivering everything armies needed to fight. This is the complete catalog of supply vehicles that sustained Allied forces in World War II, every truck, transport, and carrier that moved men and materiel from 1939 to 1945. United States Army Light Utility Vehicles. The Willys MB Jeep, the legendary quarter-ton 4x4 that became the war's most iconic vehicle, over 600,000 built for global service. The Ford GPW, Ford's version of the Willys Jeep with identical specifications, mass production supplemented Willys' output. The Dodge WC Series, 3/4-ton 4x4 trucks in multiple configurations, command cars, weapons carriers, and ambulances. The Bantam BRC, the original Jeep prototype that lost production contract. Small numbers served early war. United States Army Medium Trucks. The GMC CCKW, the legendary Jimmy truck and workhorse of Allied logistics, 2.5 tons capacity in 6x6 configuration. The Studebaker US-6, heavy-duty 2.5-ton truck primarily supplied to Soviets, over 200,000 delivered via Lend-Lease. The International M5H6, 6-wheel drive truck competing with GMC design. Standardization limited widespread adoption. The Chevrolet G506, 1.5-ton 4x4 cargo truck. Canadian production supplemented American output. United States Army Heavy Trucks. The Mack NO, 6-ton 6x6 heavy cargo truck, rugged construction for severe conditions. The Autocar U8144T, 4-ton 4x4 cargo and tractor truck, specialized heavy hauling duties. The Diamond T Model 980, 12-ton tank transporter and recovery vehicle, moved disabled armor from battlefields. The Diamond T Model 969, 4-ton wrecker and recovery truck, essential maintenance support vehicle. United States Army Prime movers and artillery tractors. The Mack NR, 9-ton 6x6 prime mover for heavy artillery, towed massive guns across difficult terrain. The Allis-Chalmers M2, high-speed artillery tractor for 105mm and 155mm guns, armored cab protected crews. The International M56318, high-speed tractor for medium artillery, replaced obsolete tracked vehicles. United States Army Amphibious Vehicles. The DUKW, 6-wheel drive amphibious truck nicknamed the Duck, drove from ships directly onto invasion beaches. The Ford GPA, amphibious quarter-ton Jeep variant, limited production due to poor performance. United States Army Specialized Carriers. The White 666 cargo truck, 6-ton 6x6 for heavy cargo transport, massive payload capacity. The Federal 506, 4 to 6-ton cargo hauler, standardized components with other manufacturers. The Brockway B666, 6-ton 6x6 heavy truck, limited production for specialized roles. United States Army tanker trucks. The GMC CCKW fuel tanker, standard 750-gallon fuel transport variant, kept mechanized forces moving. The Autocar U7144T fuel tanker, heavy-duty petroleum transport, delivered aviation fuel to airfields. The White 666 tanker, large-capacity fuel hauler, supported armored divisions. United States Army workshop and maintenance vehicles. The Ward LaFrance 1000 heavy wrecker and recovery truck, retrieved damaged vehicles under fire. The Kenworth 573 heavy-duty tow truck and transporter, battlefield recovery operations. The Chevrolet Mobile Workshop, traveling repair facility mounted on truck chassis, frontline maintenance capability. British Army, light vehicles. The Austin Tilley, utility vehicle based on civilian car platform, reconnaissance and liaison duties. The Humber Light Reconnaissance Car, armored 4x4 scout vehicle, speed and mobility emphasized. The Morris Commercial C8, quad artillery tractor for light guns, towed 25-pounder field artillery. British Army medium trucks. The Bedford OL, 3-ton 4x2 general service truck, backbone of British military transport. The Bedford QL, 4-wheel drive version of OL design, all-terrain capability for forward areas. The Austin K5, 3-ton cargo truck with conventional drive, rear echelon supply duties. The Fordson WOT1, 3-ton truck using tractor components, emergency production wartime design. British Army heavy trucks. The AEC Matador, medium artillery tractor for heavy guns, towed larger caliber artillery pieces. The Scammell Pioneer, heavy recovery and tank transporter, massive 6-wheel drive chassis. The Albion CX-22S, heavy cargo and artillery tractor, Scottish production for British forces. British Army specialized vehicles. The Guy Quad Ant, artillery tractor for anti-aircraft guns, mobile air defense platform. The Morris Commercial CD, armored command and signals truck, protected mobile headquarters. The Leyland Retriever, general service cargo and tractor truck, versatile multi-role platform. British Army amphibious and specialized. The Terrapin, 8-wheel amphibious cargo carrier, river crossing and beach landing operations. The DUWK, American amphibious trucks in British service, essential for D-Day operations. Soviet Red Army, light vehicles. The Gaz-67, Soviet light utility vehicle similar to Jeep, 4-wheel drive reconnaissance car. The Gaz-64, earlier version of Gaz-67 design, limited production before improvement. Soviet Red Army, medium trucks. The GAZ-AA, light truck based on Ford Model AA, mass-produced workhorse of early war. The ZIS-5, 3-ton 4x2 cargo truck standard issue, hundreds of thousands built throughout war. The GAZ-MM, improved GAZ-AA with more powerful engine, continued production alongside original. The ZIS-6, 6-wheel drive version of ZIS-5, all-terrain variant for difficult conditions. Soviet Red Army heavy trucks. The YAG-6, 3-ton 4x4 artillery tractor, towed medium and heavy guns. The YAG-10, heavy artillery tractor for largest guns, 6-wheel drive configuration. The ZIS-42, half-track truck for extreme terrain, winter operations on Eastern Front. Soviet Red Army Lend-Lease American trucks. The Studebaker US-6, over 200,000 delivered to USSR, most important Lend-Lease vehicle. The GMC CCWK, American Jimmies in Soviet service, supplemented domestic production. The Dodge WC Series, 3/4-ton trucks for Red Army, light transport and reconnaissance. The International M5H6, heavy trucks from American production, artillery tractors and cargo haulers. Soviet Red Army Lend-Lease British trucks. The Bedford QL, British 4-wheel drive trucks via Arctic convoys, operated alongside American types. The Scammell Pioneer, heavy recovery vehicles from Britain, tank transporters for Soviet armor. Canadian military production. The Chevrolet C60L, Canadian-built 3-ton cargo truck, supplied to Canadian and British forces. The Ford F60L, Canadian Ford production for the Commonwealth, 3-ton cargo configuration. The General Motors C15TA, Canadian armored truck production, protected personnel carriers. The Chevrolet CMP, Canadian military pattern standardized design, over 400,000 built. Canadian CMP variations. The Chevrolet C15, 1,500 weight standard cargo truck, basic transport configuration. The Ford F15, Ford version of C15 design, interchangeable components with Chevrolet. The Chevrolet C30, 3-ton heavy cargo variant, increased payload capacity. The Ford F30, Ford heavy cargo configuration, standardized parts with Chevrolet equivalent. Australian military production. The Ford Canada CMP, Canadian designs built under license in Australia, supported Pacific operations. The International ACCO, Australian heavy truck production, cargo and recovery roles. The Blitz Buggy, Australian light utility conversion, Jeep alternative from local resources. French Army, pre-effete vehicles. The Renault AGC, colonial troops carrier and artillery tractor, obsolete by 1940 standards. The Lafley V15T, artillery tractor for mountain guns, limited service before armistice. The Citroën Cagresse P17, half-track utility and tractor vehicle, innovative design, insufficient numbers. Free French Forces, Allied equipment. The GMC CCKW, American trucks for Free French divisions, equipped for Northwest Europe campaign. The Dodge WC Series, standard Allied equipment for Free French, Liberation of France operations. Polish Forces, Allied equipment. The Bedford QL, British trucks for Polish formations in exile, operated under British command. The GMC CCKW, American equipment for Polish Corps in Italy, Monte Cassino and beyond. Specialized Allied cargo carriers. The Mack NM, 6-ton 6x6 cargo and fuel carrier, Pacific theater operations. The Sterling K5, Canadian-built cargo truck, home defense and training roles. The Rio 28XS, 10-ton cargo truck for heavy loads, massive payload, specialized transport. Ambulance and medical vehicles. The Dodge WC54, 3/4-ton ambulance configuration, frontline casualty evacuation. The Austin K2, British ambulance, based on truck chassis, mobile medical treatment. The GMC CCKW ambulance, field hospital transport variant, evacuated wounded from forward positions. Communications and command vehicles. The Morris C8 signals truck, mobile communications center, radio equipment mounted. The Chevrolet C15 command vehicle, armored headquarters variant, protected command posts. The Austin K3, signals and wireless truck, communications network maintenance. Kitchen and field service vehicles. The GMC CCKW kitchen truck, mobile field cooking facility, hot meals at front lines. The Bedford QL water tanker, potable water transport, essential desert operations. The Chevrolet CMP cookhouse, Canadian mobile kitchen design, sustained troops in field. Fuel and petroleum transport. The Autocar U7144T tanker, 5,000-gallon fuel hauler, strategic fuel depot supply. The White 666 aviation fuel tanker, Airfield refueling operations, kept aircraft flying. The Bedford QL petrol carrier, British fuel transport variant, mobile petroleum reserves. Ammunition carriers. The Mack NO ammunition truck, specialized ordnance transport, armored ammunition compartments. The Diamond T ammunition carrier,
heavy shells and explosives hauler, artillery resupply missions. The GMC CCKW ammo variant, protected ammunition transport, forward supply dumps.
Recovery and maintenance vehicles. The Ward-LaFrance 1000 series, heavy wreckers for battlefield recovery, pulled disabled tanks. The Scammell SV2S, British heavy recovery tractor, retrieved stuck vehicles. The Diamond T969 wrecker, 4-ton towing capacity, roadside repair support. Engineer and construction vehicles. The International M426, engineered dump truck for construction, built roads and fortifications. The Mack LM, dump truck for engineer battalions, airfield and road construction. The FWD HAR-1, heavy hauler for engineering materials, transported construction equipment. Tractor units and prime movers. The Pacific Car and Foundry M26, tank transporter tractor unit, 40-ton trailer capacity. The Kenworth 570, heavy tractor for oversized loads, moved artillery and equipment. The Autocar U8144T tractor, semi-trailer hauling configuration, long-distance strategic transport. Armored supply vehicles. The white M3A1 Scout car, lightly armored personnel and supply carrier, protected forward resupply. The M3 half-track, armored personnel carrier carrying supplies, combined transport and protection. Desert warfare specialists. The Chevrolet WB30CWT, long-range desert group transport, modified for extreme conditions. The Ford F30 Desert variant, sand channels and extra fuel tanks, North Africa campaigns. The GMC CCWK Desert configuration, sun compass and radiator modifications, Sahara operations. Arctic and cold weather vehicles. The ZIS-42 half-track, Soviet winter warfare transport, deep snow mobility. The GMC CCWK snow configuration, tire chains and cold weather equipment, Northern Europe operations. Island-hopping Pacific vehicles. The GMC CCKW, amphibious operations, waterproofed for beach landings, Pacific Island invasions. The DUKW Pacific Theater, essential for logistics over coral reefs, bypassed damaged harbors. The Dodge WC Pacific variant, jungle warfare modifications, disease prevention features. Motorcycle and dispatch vehicles. The Harley-Davidson WLA, military motorcycle for dispatch riders, communications and reconnaissance. The Norton 16H, British military motorcycle, message delivery across battlefields. The Indian Model 741, American military motorcycle alternative, dispatch and escort duties. Railway transport vehicles. The Diamond T Model 981, heavy equipment transporter to rail yards, coordinated rail and road transport. The Mack Railway crane carrier, lifted equipment onto flat cars, strategic rail movement support. Port and dock operations vehicles. The Autocar tractor unit, shipyard and port cargo handling, dockside logistics operations. The Mack heavy hauler, container and crate transport, loading and unloading ships. Airfield service vehicles. The Chevrolet refueling truck, aircraft servicing vehicle, flight line operations. The GMC crash truck, airfield fire and rescue vehicle, emergency response capability. The Ford service truck, aircraft maintenance transport, tools and parts delivery. Civilian vehicles in military service. Commercial trucks requisitioned across allied nations, private vehicles pressed into service. Farm tractors converted for military logistics, agricultural equipment adapted. Prototype and experimental vehicles. The GMC DUKW 353. Improved amphibious design, never adopted. War ended before production. The Studebaker Weasel, tracked cargo carrier for extreme terrain, limited wartime deployment. Post-production variants. The GMC-CCKW post-war versions, continued production after victory, global distribution. The Dodge Power Wagon, civilian adaptation of military design, commercial success post-war. These supply vehicles won the war behind front lines. Logistics determined victory more than any weapon. Fuel, food, and ammunition reached armies across deserts, jungles, and mountains. Allied industrial might produced vehicles in overwhelming numbers. Axis forces could never match this logistical superiority. Every gallon of fuel, every shell, every ration traveled by truck. Supply vehicles transformed modern warfare into a contest of industrial production.